Well, okay, so in 2018, 2019, 2020, when these the regulators in the various jurisdictions were having a look at this, everything was theoretical, right? So I guess they were looking at what's going on in the UK or perhaps to a less extent, US or whatever. And the discussions happening there, they got in their consultants, as you said, and they drafted what they hope to be some sort of regulatory framework. But everything was theoretical. Now, suddenly, as at the end of 2022, and as we having this conversation in early 2023, is no longer theoretical, it's real. And if we were to look at what happened in the Bahamas, I know we're not discussing the Bahamas, but it's obviously it's within sphere being in the Caribbean. And if we were to transpose it and to say that FTX or an entity like it were to have been located in one of the other jurisdictions which now have that regulatory framework, would it have been able to be caught? And it seems as if, and correct me if I'm wrong, the answer is definitely no, for two reasons. One, it's not treated in the way like a security would be in other jurisdictions, where it would be subject to rigorous disclosure and audit requirements. That's the first thing. And then the second thing, I guess, when you mentioned that consultants had to be called in, the question is, do the domestic financial services oversight bodies, do they have the skill set in-house in order to understand really what's going on, far less impose or enforce any governance requirement?
Well, I think that's a very broad question. And I think I'll answer it this way. Because crypto doesn't necessarily display all the features of a security, there's often the desire, the market desire to not have a heavy hand in regulation. So, for example, if we cast our mind back to, there was a report from IOSCO, IOSCO, which it's called the Investor Education on Crypto Assets, and that was published on the 23rd of December 2020. They identify, and IOSCO is the general securities body, they identify risks within the crypto asset market, being market liquidity, volatility, partial or total loss of the invested amount, insufficient information disclosure, and fraud. And their way of seeing a resolution or solution to that would be for member states to develop educational content, inform the public about unlicensed or fraudulent firms, to use a variety of communication channels, etc. But that is all broad. It doesn't make granular recommendations as to how to achieve consumer protection. And I think it goes back to an almost primal, how do you regulate human nature, really? The wish to get rich quick, balanced against the risk or the need to protect one's financial interests. And I think, more to your point about the capacity of Caribbean regulators, I do think there's capacity. However, even on a good day, onshore regulators aren't able to necessarily have a microscope to the activities of large crypto asset exchange platforms. So take, for instance, Binance. Binance is a Cayman domiciled exchange. It's one of the world's largest. However, the FCA in the UK would have from time to time imposed withdrawal bans. In the United Kingdom, stop notices, required more information or other assurances to be given as a regulatory response. That has been mirrored in Cayman. That has been mirrored in St. Vincent. That has been mirrored in, if memory serves, the BVI, where the regulators in each of those islands, upon a complaint, a substantiated complaint from a consumer client, have made changes or have made regulatory responses to the activity of a particular crypto exchange or a crypto trader. So I think that broadly, I think, answers your question in terms of capacity. I mean, there's always a need for more technical capacity, but really and truly, there isn't much that can be done, even in onshore jurisdictions, to control the actions of or the ramifications of a crypto exchange acting in a particular manner.
So if you're a 6, 7, or 8-figure investor, entrepreneur, or business owner who needs a tailor-made solution from a qualified team of professionals, we can help you achieve the international lifestyle, the freedom, and even the tax savings you're looking for. Visit us at htj.tax and live that international life.